What is up, everyone? Hope you guys are having an amazing, beautiful day as always. And ladies and gents, today we're going to be talking about the new exotic bow, the Ticuus Divination. Now, first of all, I want to let you guys know that I'm going to be trying to record this in one go. And as you all know, English is not my first language, so I apologize in advance if I mess some little things up. So we're going to talk about how the bow feels, how to use it correctly, and what I feel like is the true potential of this bow in 6v6s, in competitive, in trials. But first, let's talk about how it actually feels. Well, compared to some other exotic bows, such as, for example, Wishender and Trinity Ghoul, in my humble opinion, I feel like it is snappier and just a lighter bow. So for me, that's a big plus when it comes to PvP, because if a bow is as sluggish as Wishender is, it just doesn't feel right. You don't have the correct swap times. It's just not there. Reload of the arrows is just too slow, and it will get you killed way more than you think. So for me, the fact that it feels snappier and it feels lighter is a huge factor. It's definitely better when it comes to Trinity and Wishender if we're talking about swap speeds and so on. So that's a huge thing. Now, if you want to use it correctly, obviously it's pretty easy. All you got to do is tag someone with hip fire and then ADS shot. And the ADS shot, you definitely want to go for the head. It does over 270 damage because of the double damage pretty much, thanks to the explosion you get. But you have to tag people with the hip fire shot, which has a very aggressive tracking. So it really isn't that hard to do. If you're a Titan, just dropping that barricade and just doing a quick peek and then a shot with hip fire gets the job done. And then you can play aggressive and try to get that one shot kill. The body shots do not kill. They leave them with pretty low HP, but it's definitely not a kill. So you have to go for the head as mentioned, which if you're new to bows can be really, it just takes time to get used to. But once you get it down, it's a very strong thing that you could actually one shot. The one thing I want you guys to keep in mind is obviously I'm talking about some console gameplay here. If we bring in PC, ladies and gents, all of this changes because sniping on PC with mouse and keyboard is different. And yes, I know crossplay is coming in, but I really do hope we have the option to opt out and just play with console players instead of just going and being forced to play against PC players, because that could cause a lot of problems with Destiny 2. And I really hope that we have that option to turn off crossplay, or just to simply queue up with another friend that is on a console and just go against console players. So let's get back to the bow. So the fact that the bow can offer those one-shot kills and you can set it up all by yourself without depending on anyone else, to me is very unique and it's very strong. In general, I feel like this is one of the most unique exotics in the game. Not just as a bow exotic, but in general as an exotic. It's super unique both for PvP and PvE. And I feel that's what sets it apart from the other exotic bows, the potential of setting up a one-shot kill without any kind of buffs. That's very strong. However, the problem is, unless you're playing aggressive, especially in modes such as competitive or trials, what happens is you tag someone with a hipfire shot, right? They see the debuff on their screen and it only lasts 5 seconds. So they have to stay away from you for those 5 seconds, and then they can pretty much engage once again. On the other side, you can just keep tagging people with that hipfire shot and it will scare them off. Like if you can use a bow and if they re-peek, you should land a headshot, and that's a one-shot kill. It's a very scary thing that you know that you're about to get one shot if you re-peek. It's a risk. Some people will take it, some people won't, but the fact that this bow creates this whole situation and you can set up these one-shots, in my humble opinion, is very strong, especially if we're talking sixes. Now, another factor you want to keep in mind is that not only do you kill that individual that you're hitting with a headshot, but he also explodes, which means that that explosion will damage other enemies too. I was also very excited for the catalyst of the bow. I completed the catalyst, I tried it out, and honestly it's okay, but it's nothing it's not a huge game changer when we're talking about PvP. It's definitely not. Once again, for the catalyst, I did have some high hopes because it says it increases the damage of the arrow on a perfect draw, and I was like, oh wait, does this mean I can tag someone with the hipfire shot and then be able to hit a body shot instead of a headshot and get a kill? That would make it way more deadly, and you would be able to play more aggressive without needing to land those headshots as you're rushing your enemy, but that is not the case. It only increases the damage of the shot that follows the explosion shot, and even then it's a very small increase, around 4 damage in PvP. But the more I think about it, it does kind of make sense that what I was expecting never ended up being reality, because honestly it could have been super broken. So Pip, if the bow is so good, why not use it over Le Monarque? Here's the thing, it really is gonna depend on what kind of playstyle you want to have with bows. If you're one of those guys that wants to play aggressive with a bow, you see that you've tagged the person and you're like, okay, I need to get this person, and you push in and you risk it and you're going for those headshots and you're good at those flick shots, I wouldn't still say better, but I feel like in a certain way, depending as mentioned on your play style, it could compete, because you could also play aggressive with Le Monarque, right? But the fact that you can set up those one-shot kills with this one gives it a, I would say, a chance to compete with Le Monarque in that regard. Also keep in mind that when you tag someone with the hipfire shot, if you kill them with any other weapon, the explosion will also take place, which is very strong in PvE actually, and it will also take place if your teammates get the kill. So that's another awesome perk of this weapon. However, if you enjoy being a support role in Destiny 2, I'm talking the real support build, then Le Monarque will always be better. Not only that, but I would go as far as say that if we're only talking about competitive modes, I would always pick Le Monarque over this bow. Once again, I'm not saying that bow cannot compete. It most definitely can, but it's just the fact that Le Monarque has so much going for it. To take out your enemy players out of the game for a very long period of time is unmatched. It literally is the best support weapon in Destiny 2 in my humble opinion, because the fact that I can tag someone with a body shot or with a headshot and they have to kind of hide to recover and they have to backpedal, they can't push anymore. First of all, if it's a headshot, they lose the shield instantly and they're burning, and even when that burn is gone, they have to wait for the recovery to kick in. And the same goes with a body shot. If I tag them with a body shot, they lose the shield, they're still burning, and after the burn, the recovery still has to kick in, and depending on what tier recovery they're running, it might take longer. So that creates huge openings for your team to push in and get some easy kills, and that's precisely what makes Le Monarque so powerful. Not to mention the fact that if your team is also running Radiant Light and Powerful Friends, every time your teammate pops a super, you will be instantly charged with light. So you can run around and get one-shot kills in case your teammate messes up the super, right? And even though that super just got destroyed, you can still easily win the round because you're running around with one-shot arrows. And let me tell you, ladies and gents, when you land those, it feels extremely good. So for me personally, if I'm going against a very sweaty, high-skilled team and I want to run my bow setups, I'm going to go for Le Monarque. Another huge difference between these two exotic bows is the Oathkeeper's exotic. In Le Monarque's case, you guys know that I love running Oathkeepers, and obviously there's a reason for that. It literally takes Le Monarque to that next level. But let's say you don't enjoy using Oathkeepers, or you just don't feel like it's good enough of a exotic to use. That's when Ticuus is actually very interesting, because you don't really have to use Oathkeepers. You can use Wormhusk, Bacchris, Dragon Shadow, and many other exotics that you prefer over Oathkeepers. And the reason for that is it just really doesn't do much for the bow. In Le Monarque's case, you need that perfect draw at all times to poison your enemies at all times, and Ticuus doesn't really have any kind of poison going for it. And as long as you tag someone with that hipfire shot, which once again has very aggressive tracking and is very easy to land, after that, as long as you're landing that headshot, perfect draw or not, it's a kill. And as long as you're landing a body shot, once again, perfect draw or not, it's not gonna be a kill. So it really doesn't make that big of a difference. So that's another very interesting fact that makes Ticuus different from Le Monarque. And once again, guys, even though it's my personal preference to run Le Monarque still in those sweaty competitive games, I still feel like if you master Ticuus, if you really understand how the weapon works, and if you try to utilize it aggressively, it can be not only a lot of fun, but it could definitely be effective. Will I be using this bow? 100%. And I'll be creating some awesome combinations with some beautiful hunter exotics, titan ones, warlock ones. So stay tuned for some upcoming build videos. And if you're also looking for some guides on triple 100 and even quadruple 100 stat effects, you will find those on the channel alongside with some beautiful PvP and PvE builds. So if you guys do enjoy the videos, and only if you do, a like and a sub truly does help me out a lot and is very, very appreciated. And I truly do hope to see you guys on stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday around reset time, of course here on YouTube. I am literally blessed with the most positive, amazing and badass community out there. So yeah, just hop in and let's have a great time together. Thank you once again for all the amazing support, and as always, have a crazy beautiful day.